VSpann, America's communication network for veterans. Welcome to the Veterans Special Programs American National Network, VSpann. Our spotlight today shines on the Sons of the American Legion, a program of the American Legion. The Sons of the American Legion is unique in many ways, and it provides programs and support to the American Legion to help veterans, their families, and their community. Joining us today is our special guest from the Sons of the American Legion, Jimmy Hunter. Jimmy is the state commander of Illinois, and Jimmy, welcome to VSpann. The Sons of the American Legion is unique in a lot of different ways, but specifically, it's comprised of largely non-veterans. Talk to us about the Sons of the American Legion.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here today. The Sons of the American Legion is an organization that was founded in 1932 as a support organization to the American Legion. The military veterans then wanted their sons and grandsons to be in the same organization that they were in. So they formed an organization that you are eligible to join through your father or your grandfather and they're in their military service. So sons, grandsons, stepsons, on down the line are eligible to, or of your mother also, or your grandmother, that were all in the military. You're eligible to be in the Sons of the American Legion. And also there's a little small crack in there and some of the eligibility dates from the American Legion that veterans are not able to join the American Legion, and those guys that are in those cracks are also able to join the Sons of the American Legion.
Okay, is it a sponsorship type of an enrollment? How does one who is a non-veteran say, I want to join, and my dad was a veteran, and maybe he is disabled and or deceased?
Well, on the application, there's a spot on there for whether your father was a veteran or if he still is a member of an American Legion post.
Okay. Now, if you're a non-veteran and you want to get involved in this, what would be the reason? Why would a non-veteran want to become a member of the Sons of the American Legion?
Well, I can speak probably for most of our 15,000 members across the state of Illinois, saying that in one way or another, we want to serve our country and serve our veterans and support our veterans. So I would think that that would be the main reason they would want to join the Sons of the American Legion.
Yeah. Making a difference, I think, would be another reason. And quite frankly, Jimmy, I knew very little about the Sons of the American Legion prior to us talking. And as I learned more about it, it became clear to me that the programs and the services that you provide are pretty extensive. They reach a lot of people. As a veteran myself, looking at some of the programs, it seems like people could get involved if they're non-veterans and make a big, big difference in the lives of veterans. Speak to us about the three categories that I see these programs falling under.
Well, our main categories that we work with are the Americanism, Veterans and Rehabilitation, and Children and Youth. The Americanism program is, we do a lot of things in schools, teaching our kids about the flag, proper etiquette of the flag, and so forth and so on. We have oratorical contests describing what they think of how they're proud to be an American, so forth and so on. The VA and our programs, the Sons of the Legion has representatives in every veterans home across the United States, just like the Legion does. We have guys that are there every day to help them in every way that they can. That's one way that we do the VA and our. We have guys going out, and later on you'll meet one of them that goes to the veterans home we have out here in Manteno and teaches woodworking and so forth. Anything a veteran actually needs, he can count on us to try to help him with it. And then in the children and youth, programs. We support many different programs. The Children's Welfare Foundation is our biggest program. The Sons of the American Legion, since they started supporting that program, has been the biggest contributor to that program. We have contributed so far over $5 million to that program. And then we also support the Children's Miracle Network, the Josh Dogs program. Josh Dogs is another program that I grew particularly fond of through my experiences going to a children's hospital and presenting one of these dogs to a little boy that wouldn't take his medicine and so forth. And the Josh Dog is a stuffed dog that comes in a dog house, and there's also a book that comes with it that can be read in storybook form to the child, but this book helps the parents get through the illness or whatever the problem might be that the child is in the hospital with. But I presented this dog to this little boy who wouldn't take his medicine. His eyes lit up, and they had no problem getting the medicine into him. When the parents came down later, they thanked me for bringing that. And I believe me, I'm not real easy to get tears in my eyes, but that really brought tears to my eyes that day. So, but anyhow, that's a couple of the programs that we involve ourselves with the children and youth also.
Okay, and what about the Veterans Affairs and the rehabilitation?
Well, that's what I spoke of before, that we visit the veterans' homes, we support the troops.
Talk to me about the support the troops. That's of interest to me. You raised considerable money and donated it. What does that mean?
Well, we will, one thing that I'm so proud that we do now, whenever they have a welcome home for any of the troops, we try to be at as many of them as we can, representing the American Legion and the Sons of the American Legion. We do going aways for the veterans too that are leaving. And anytime throughout the year, we have many of our squadrons that have a steady flow of packages to our troops overseas, whatever the need might be, food or toiletries or so forth or so on. We're constantly doing that also throughout the year, not only just at Christmas or holidays. We continue to do that throughout the year.
Under Americanism, Jimmy, one of the programs was flag education. Explain to us what that means.
Well, we have members of our Sons of the American Legion that will go into the schools and present a program. They will tell them the meaning of the flag, show them how to fold the flag, give them the whole background on the flag and so forth. Any questions, flag etiquette, how to fly the flag in a parade, anything they might want to know about the flag and the history of the flag.
Yeah, and as a veteran myself, I'm very very conscious about the American flag. We live in a condo association, and we have several buildings in the condo, and we fly the American flag. And right off the bat, I noticed it's flying 24 hours a day, at night unlit. So I have become focused on getting that flag lit at night, and we're putting some money into the cost of doing that to do it. And it was interesting that the flag, it's a federal law that the flag is lit at night, but it's unenforceable. It's not enforced.
Yeah, that's been the law for many years, but I believe that I just heard recently that they are changing it. I'm not positive though. I would say check into it.
Well, I am going to make a personal effort to make sure that we get the word out through our local newspapers that you might want to consider this if you're flying it at night, flag it, because that's American.
We try to do that. We try to keep it lit,
yeah,
because we like to honor Old Glory.
Absolutely, absolutely. Most service organizations, Jimmy, have a similar problem. You offer so many valuable programs and services to the veterans and especially the families. How do you get the word out? How do you get people to know about what you do?
Well, what we tell our members is we know that we can't all do all the programs. So we try to tell our members, find out what you can in your community, find out what you need in your community, and then try to focus on those needs. There's about 52 different programs that we have. And like I said, we know we can't all do all of them. So it's an idea of just trying to fit the need to the community.
Yeah, and with 15,000 members in the organization, you've got a lot of starting point. Spread the word.
We have 255 squadrons throughout the state, and the state has approximately 800 American Legion posts. We are trying to get a squadron in every one of those posts if we can, because we are a companion or a program of the American Legion. So we're working hard at it.
Yes. And they got the right, you got the right leader here with Jimmy Hunter, the commander. When we return, you're going to learn more about the key programs that provide services to veterans and their families, one of which focuses on the children of veterans. This is VSpann. You're watching the Veterans Special Programs American National Network. Our VSpann Spotlight today is on the Sons of the American Legion and their many programs that focus on the children and veterans. Ed Kavanaugh is the Senior Vice Commander of the Sons of the American Legion, the state of Illinois, and he's joining us now to tell us a little bit more about some of the programs that you already heard about. Ed, welcome to our program. We're proud to have you here, as well as Jimmy Hunter, the commander. And we touched on a lot of the programs that are offered, and the Children and Youth, the Children Welfare Foundation, is one that provides some tremendous value to veterans and their families. Talk to us about some of the specifics of the Children's Welfare Foundation.
Well, to begin with, the Sons of the American Legion donated over $24,000 to that program last year. But it is for taking care of the children's special needs, for hospital bills, special education, things like that. All the youth programs are meant to take care of the children of the veterans, so that they don't feel any loss in any way. But each one is directed in a different location.
Now, this $15,000, this is just for the state of Illinois. So we have...
no, that was $24,000.
$24,000 is for the state of Illinois.
Yes.
That's correct?
We're proud of what we raised.
And and I agree. What's the process for the fundraising? How do you raise this $24,000?
We ask for donations. We have squadrons giving donations, and we have people that solicit donations. We have fundraisers for the donations or raise funds for it. There's various ways that we develop that fund.
Now, the children that are candidates for this are likely to be children of single parent?
Not necessarily. It could be a disabled parent. It could be parents are just unfortunate.
And in addition to the children, you get involved with the Special Olympics.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, we have Special Olympics programs. We have athletic programs for the children. We have parties for the children to give them as much attention as any normal children.
When we take a look at the children and their families, I was especially interested, Jimmy, when you were talking about the scholarships that are offered through either oral or written communications. That's such a valuable tool for the children. Explain how you get the children involved and some of the results of these children's efforts.
Well, most of them are done mainly through the schools. We get involved with the schools, and some of these essays or stories that these kids write, it's unbelievable what they put in words, what they think about our country, about our veterans, and so forth and so on. And that's a lot of the criteria that these awards are based on. You know, the text of the message along with all the other grammar and so forth and so on.
Can you paraphrase some of the content contained in these written or spoken orientations?
I think Ed has a little more experience with that than I do. I've only seen a couple of them, you know, like one little boy wrote that it makes me want to join the military when I grow up, you know. But Ed?
Well, they will surprise you as to what they actually know about the country and how much they actually appreciate the fact that they're in a country that's free. And, you know, they read about and hear about other countries that are not so fortunate, and they'll surprise you on what they come up with to explain that.
And the age range for candidates who participate?
Well, we have both grammar school and high school.
Ah, okay.
Right.
So it could be any 2 to 3 grades in grammar school, any 2 grades in high school.
And the thing with this also is these kids are awarded these scholarships on local levels, which it starts with us at the squadron, and then they are entered into the state competition. And then the state competition is entered into the national competition. And each time they win one of these things, they win more scholarship awards and so forth. And when they're up on the stage at the national convention, they win $5,000 scholarship awards.
And that's a big deal.
Oh, yes, yes. So
That's a big deal. When I look at organizations, and especially with the Sons of the American Legion, I find it amazing that there's so many programs involved that we just don't know a whole lot about. Recently, we heard all about Sandy and the devastation that Sandy brought to the United States, and you got involved in that also.
we have throughout the nation in the Sons of the Legion what we call the NEF, the National Emergency Fund. And any member who is involved in any kind of disaster or ravage of nature, to speak, so forth, is eligible for a $1,500 grant from the Sons of the American Legion.
How do you keep track of all of these events that you're involved with, these programs, and how do you administer them? For example, your role, Jimmy, as the commander, tell me about what your principal role is governing this large body of 15,000 members.
Well, the state commander's role is mainly to go out and do things like this, publicize our organization, make sure that it's well known, and try to get as many new members as we can to join. At the same time, while governing the organization through we have quarterly meetings that we go through, and everybody has to come in and make their reports from the districts, divisions, and so forth and so on. And we have a reporting system on all of these things that we have talked about today. At our meetings, the morning is spent with all these commissions meeting together, and then in the afternoon session, they all give their reports. And we report on our fundraisers and so forth and so on. And another one of my big jobs is to fundraising. So it keeps us busy, and we'll be talking a little bit later about a benefit that we have in February to help raise funds for a lot of these programs.
Excellent. There's so much to talk about, and when you talk about the reporting process, those of us who have been in business, been around business, we know, say, another report. This is pretty significant. The report that we're talking about ultimately gets reported to the United States Congress. And let's talk a little bit about the numbers.
Well, we have some reports here that we are using sort of as cheat sheets, but in the state of Illinois, we have approximately 1/3 of these reports turned in. We work hard to try and get it more every year, but it gives us our figures, like our Americanism. We donated $91,000. Children and Youth, $53,000. Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, $149,000. So we donated $295,000 in the past year while putting in 49,000 hours of service hours to these different organizations. And if all of our squadrons had reported, this would, the figure probably, the donations would be well over $1 million, and the hours would be probably 150,000. But the important thing of that is these figures are all given to the American Legion, and then they are combined with the American Legion's figures, and the national commander of the American Legion goes in front of Congress and gives them a report on all of this. And it helps Congress decide where to distribute the money, where it's needed.
So this is a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And we try to instill in our squadrons, in our districts, in our divisions, we need these reports. And every year it gets better. And it's like any other report. Everybody's lazy. So, we got to beat them over the head sometimes, but we get it done.
When we look at reports, Jimmy and Ed, we look at numbers, and you're looking at numbers here from the Sons of the American Legion that say about $300,000. That's a lot of money. But the numbers relative to dollars don't come close to talking about the men and women who implement and execute these programs. These are volunteers who are doing it because it's in their heart.
That's where those 50,000 hours come in, those service hours. That's where they're doing it. That's what they're doing to help raise that money. That's what they're help doing to work these different organizations and so forth.
And the volunteers are all of the leadership positions in the Sons of the American Legion voluntary?
Every position in the Sons of the American Legion is a volunteer.
Yeah.
There is no paid positions in the Sons of the American Legion. From the first time I joined until my fortune of being elected state commander, all volunteer.
Okay. And in your particular case, a non-veteran?
Non-veteran.
What caused you to want to get involved?
I just decided that I would like to do something for our veterans in our country. I belong to the Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery Honor Guard. I've been off because of a knee replacement, but I go out there every Friday and help perform burial services for our veterans, and I think that's the least that I could do. And there are other non-veteran members out there also. I'm very involved with Honor Flight Chicago, taking our veterans to Washington. But it goes on and on. I'm not the only one that does this. That's everybody in our organization works hard at programs like this because that's what they want to do. We owe it to our veterans. Look what they did for us. I mean, it's the least that we can do to give back.
God love you for that. Well, the Sons of the American Legion have more to offer to our veterans by providing a variety of programs that are geared for adults, programs that not only give, but also help to heal. Coming up next on VSpann.
VSpann is a network designed to serve the American veteran. Its mission is to inform, inspire, enlighten, honor, remember, and entertain. Soldiers and veterans will not ask for our help, but it needs to be given nevertheless. Winston Churchill once said, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." This sentiment stands true today.
Veterans deserve this. We owe them, not the other way around.
It's time to pay back our debt to our soldiers and our veterans. It's time for VSpann.
Our VSpann Spotlight today is shining on the Sons of the American Legion. And with us today is Jimmy Hunter, who's the commander, and we have Ed Kavanaugh. And Ed, the programs that we've been talking about, Veterans Affairs and rehabilitation, some very interesting things. In Manteno, Illinois, we have a veterans home. Tell us a little bit about the veterans home in Manteno.
Well, they are funded by the state, which means that they don't really have an abundance of funds. They have many veterans in there that are in great need of care. I mean, they can't function on their own, and it's really a sad sight to visit that home, and I'm there quite frequently. One of the things we do is we provide woodworking for them. We go to the ward, pick them up, wheel them down to the woodwork shop, and give them some painting projects or sanding projects or something like that. We don't let them play with the power equipment, but other little projects that they can do. Just the other day we had a Christmas for the veterans, and that was not to give them a present. That would be at a dinner or whatever function we choose, but to provide Christmas presents for their relatives. They choose whether it's going to be their wife, their daughter, their son, whatever. And we pick them up at the ward, wheel them down to the Veterans Hall where they pick out a present to send to their relative at no cost to them. And they're really excited to do this, although some of them are so incapacitated that they can't even function enough to say, yes, I'd like to have that, although we question them to do that.
How are these gifts prepared? How do you get these gifts? Are they donated?
Some are donated, some are provided by the fund, by the home. An organization like the Sons will have a fundraiser to donate money to such a project.
Okay. Now the woodworking is more than just keeping them occupied. Wouldn't it be considered therapeutic?
It would be therapeutic, yes. They really enjoy coming down there and doing a sanding project and painting birdhouses and things like that. And then the projects are finished eventually, and we end up selling them in a sale for the benefit for the home.
At the home? Does this go on
Yes,
at the
it's at the home.
Manteno Veterans Home? Now we're talking somewhere in the area of what, 280 residents?
Roughly, yes.
And how are the residents selected to be there?
They are put on a list. They put themselves on a list through Veterans Affairs, VAC, things like that. There's ways that they can get themselves on a list, or their family put them on a list. And then when the list works down to their point, then they're asked to join a place. Manteno, for instance, because Cook County is so close, has a very long list. Some of the other farther out, Quincy, for instance, has a shorter list, and some of the others have less residents needed. But Manteno has a very long list, and it takes a long time to get into it.
Now, the more men and women know about the Sons of the American Legion and the valuable services and programs that are offered to veterans and their families, the more perhaps they're willing to get involved financially. Jimmy, you've had some success with fundraising, and that's obviously a result of more people knowing about what you do. Talk about some of the successes that you've had.
Well, one of the greatest success we had, and it was not my doing alone. I had another co-leader with me, and we had 60 other workers. But 2 years ago, we had a benefit at Bourbon Street for Honor Flight Chicago, and we raised over $100,000 for them. Previous year, we did it, and we only raised $35,000, and they kind of challenged us if we could beat that. So we did it 2 years in a row. We're very proud of what we did, but a lot of hard work. But when you got to see the veterans that went on these flights and talk to them, because like I said before, I'm involved with Honor Flight. I'll be back there at the beginning of the April 17th when the flights start again next year. When you see these guys come back, and men and women come back and hear them talk about it, it's worth every lick that you do. You know, I mean.
To what do you attribute that success?
Well, it's like you said, getting the word out, getting the people to help you, you know, and then also having a worthy cause.
Yeah, there's nothing more worthy than what
Yeah.
you're doing for the veterans and the families. The Boys State is an interesting program. Talk to us about that.
Well, the Boys State is a very interesting program that the Sons of the Legion sponsors, and every squadron, every Legion post is asked to try to send at least one boy from their community, and they have to be a junior or senior in high school, and they go out to a week-long camp out in Charleston, and they are taught the fundamentals of government and how a government runs and what works in government. And then that's the last day or the second to the last day, I don't remember exactly which one, they have an election, and they elect all the city and state officials and so forth and so on, just like if they were politicians. It really gives them a great training about government, and it's a very well received and well run program.
And this year, how many boys were selected?
I think this year they had over 300. So.
And you sponsor that with a financial contribution to make sure that they
Yes,
learn.
yes. Each squadron pays for the boy that goes from their community. Our American Legion post sponsored 3, and we sponsored 1 from our Sons of the Legion. So
Now, your term is how long in length?
we run from start in June and end in July.
And the elections are...
I'm sorry, we start in July and end in June.
Okay. And then the elections are held or recognized at the annual convention.
Yes.
And you have a convention coming up in 2013 when
We-
your term will end.
Yeah, we have a convention coming up in Tinley Park. It's the last weekend in June, the weekend of the 28th. It will be held at the Tinley Park Convention Center. All American Legion members, auxiliary members, American Legion riders, and SAL members are invited to attend. There is information on our website, and plus we will be having dinners and other events at the American Legion Post in Tinley Park, which is approximately a half a mile from the convention center. And we also have a golf outing, a bowling tournament, and so forth and so on. And on Sunday, the new commander will be elected, and I'll be able to take a rest.
Well deserved, too, with
Oh,
the work that you've done in 2012. I had the honor and have had the honor for 13 years to be a part of the Chicago Christmas tree ship at Navy Pier. This is when the Coast Guard cutter Mackinac comes in to deliver Christmas trees. And it's a very formal event that involves the military, and the color guard is something that just adds so much emotion to it. You also have the color guard.
Well, we have color guards in the Sons of the American Legion. We have some color guards that have won state and national competitions. And also, our color guards help a lot with a lot of the American Legion posts, because as their veterans get older and are not able to walk down the street holding a flag, I mean, it looks like a real simple thing, but unless you do it and walk down the street holding a flag, even the littlest breeze, it's not real simple. But again, we have our own that take care of our events, but we also are proud to say that we help the American Legion with a lot of their events too. In particular, my squadron in Tinley Park, we are invited to every event that our color guard is invited to. We're invited to participate with them, and that happens in a lot of squadrons.
So much to offer, and we just touched on a little bit of what the Sons of the American Legion offers to veterans and their families. If we want more information, where do we go to get it?
You can go to the Sons of the American Legion website, sal-il.org, and you can find out whatever you might want to know on there.
And there's a lot to know, a lot to learn. That's the Sons of the American Legion. Our VSpann Spotlight was on the Sons of the American Legion. For more information on this organization, you can visit their website, as Jimmy had said, sal-il.org. This program was made possible through the studios and future broadcast professionals at the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, Lombard Campus, where broadcasting careers begin. Visit beonair.com for more information about a career on radio and TV. You're watching the Veterans Special Programs American National Network. This is VSpann.